Julie? Yep, good. Okay. Good afternoon, councillors and staff, and welcome to the November meeting of Murrumbidgee Council. I would like to pay my respects to the traditional custodians of the lands and waters of Murrumbidgee local government area and to all Aboriginal elders past, present and emerging. We are committed to honouring the continuing connection that First Australians hold to Murrumbidgee's land, waters and community as one of the oldest living cultures in human history. In the spirit of open, accessible and transparent government, and to ensure this meeting is open to the public, this council meeting is being recorded. This recording will be placed on council's website following the meeting. Okay, I'll call for any apologies, please.
Not order.
Okay, one. No? Okay, no. All present and correct? We'll move to the minutes of the ordinary council meeting of the 22nd of October 2024. Would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Saxby. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. I'll remind all councillors of their pecuniary interest declarations. Are there any to be forwarded before we move further into the meeting?
Do not believe so.
If not, okay. We'll move on to the next item, which is my mayor's report. It's been a pretty busy month, as you can see from the activity here. So we're all extremely busy at this time of year. Agricultural harvest is in full swing. There are mixed reports as to the comparative yields. Some crops are better than others. Our roads are really busy with many truck movements and heavy machinery having a large presence. There is much road work happening in our patch. Keeping the repair work happening during such busy time is a challenge. Not everybody is as mindful of speed restrictions and safety first. There has been a threat of big rains, but to date they haven't eventuated, allowing the harvest to move forward unimpeded. The school presentation graduation night time of the year is upon us. It is a special time of year and it's a delight to attend such special evenings. I attended the Collyambley Central School Year 12 graduation on the 21st of November. The 7 young adults who have completed their 13 years of schooling should be so very proud of their achievements, as should their parents and the school. The General Manager and I attended the Ramjo AGM and board meeting in Hay on the 7th and 8th of November. I have assumed the chair of Ramjo for a 2-year tenure. John therefore assumes the chair of the GMAC, which is the General Managers Group. The General Manager and I attended the Country Mayor's meeting in Sydney on the 15th of November. And prior to this, I attended the Joint Organisation Chairs Forum on the 14th of November. We then attended the Local Government New South Wales Conference in Tamworth from the 17th to the 19th of November. And since our return, we have had meetings with both the NBN and Telstra seeking to put in place connectivity plans that will hopefully see us better serviced into the future. The Jerilderie community held the unveiling of the Monash and Bushranger statue and storyboards in Jerilderie on the 17th of November, a day of acknowledgement and entertainment that included pipe bands, whip cracking and a reenactment. My congratulations to the Monash committee for their passion and commitment ensuring the delivery of the project. Hosted and MC by Councillor Faith Bryce and supported by Councillor Robert Black, the unveiling is performed by Karen Fisher. All reports suggest that it was impressively hosted and delivered. Well done to Faith and Rob. Thank you to Councillor Tim Strawn and Jane for attending. My thanks also to Eden Hercus and the many other council staff who enabled this project. The Jerilderie community also celebrated the official opening of the new netball change rooms on the 23rd of November. $750,000 grant through the New South Wales Government and supported by Murrumbidgee Council. What a huge investment in the Monash Park sporting facility. Coupled with the Origin Diamond for a Day initiative and their ambassador, Joe Weston, our junior netballers had the pleasure of being able to listen to and play with a real diamond. Again, my thanks to Eden Hercus for leading the event, to Murrumbidgee Council staff, particularly Vicky Sutton, and to Councillor Toy Major for being the MC for the official opening. On the 29th of October, Murrumbidgee Council convened the joint Newell Highway and Sturt Highway Task Force Committees meeting in Narrandera. Murrumbidgee Council is the chair of the Sturt Highway Task Force and was represented by General Manager John Skess and Councillors McRae and Black. The meeting was well attended by member councils. The Honourable Jenny Aitchison MP, Minister for Regional Transport and Roads, New South Wales, attended a breakfast meeting with Murrumbidgee Council with Transport for New South Wales representatives in attendance. Minister Aitchison spent 4 hours with this joint meeting and was a warm, receptive and wholly engaged minister. On the 21st of November, I had the privilege of presenting 5 recipients with staff recognition certificates. My congratulations to Rick Moore, Daryl McNeely, Robert Adamson, David Saunders and Kasaya Sungasar. Council thanks you for your dedication and commitment over many decades. A very impressive cumulative total and some meritorious individual feats. In the last week, the General Manager, the Director of Planning and Infrastructure and I have met with both the NBN and Telstra hierarchy. They are seeking Council's input and collaboration in addressing our areas of little or missing connectivity, both digitally and mobile-wise. These interactions are frustrating, but we are hopeful that the ever-evolving technology will enable a better, more comprehensive coverage with greater surety of delivery. On the 25th of October, Council conducted a citizenship ceremony for Helette Ferreira and Gabriel Garcia, both of whom have settled in our LGA. We wish them success and happiness as they now live their lives as proud Australian citizens. Council laid wreaths and was represented at Remembrance Day services across our council LGA. Paying our respects and never forgetting the price paid for peace in our lives is an honour. Across all age demographics, eternal vigilance must be our ongoing expectation against very challenging odds. And below are a list of meetings I have attended recently, and I think there was about 15 meetings that we attended, conferences and workshops. Are there any questions, please? If not, would somebody like to move? I was looking at a new Councillor Strong, seconded Councillor Churgman. I'll put that recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. We'll move to the delegates' reports. And I will ask Councillor Black to speak to both of these, please.
Thank you very much. The unveiling of the Monash and the Bushranger statue was a delight for Chiraldry. Chiraldry as a whole should be very proud of the day. It was well attended with over 400 people here, and we were very fortunate to have John Monash's great grandson here as he gave the speech. It was also very good to have Tim Fisher's brother here that day to unveil the statue. The highlight of the day for the children was Lockie Cossa, and it was a great delight to see him bring his stepmother out during the performance. It was a great delight for the kids. Had everybody in stitches. An exceptional MC was done by Faith Bryce, who stood up very well, very confidently, and conducted the ceremony very well. Thank you very much, Faith, for your very good job. I'd also like to thank Ben Stonhill, the creative director, the Anglican ladies and their helpers for a magnificent afternoon tea, Chiraldry Apex Alliance Club and employees of Murrumbidgee Council for their support. Thank you very much, Eden Hercus, who organised much of the day. Lastly, and most importantly, I would like to thank Gwen McLaughlin, Susan Nealon, Helen Huggins, Irene Wells, and the late Heidi Heath, who, through the generous donations of many, were successful at bringing this statue to town. On Saturday, the 16th of November, at Darlington Point, there was the Murrumbidgee Riverfest, and again, a very good day. There were many little things happening, engaging in weaving and possum skin workshops. There was traditional bush tucker and involved in attendees in cultural games at the foreshore and the town beach, and also CWA Park. Another good day of about 150 people attending, and I congratulate the can't think of their name.
The Burundi Theatre.
Burundi Theatre
Yeah.
for facilitating the event. Congratulations to both those people, both those organisations.
Would somebody like to move that both these delegate report be noted, please? Move councillor Kirky, seconded councillor Major. Are there any questions of councillor Blake?
Thank you, Robert, for your roundup. That was very nice of you to do that. I think at the Jerilderie event, the only thing missing was our mayor. We don't often get many wonderful and happy occasions to celebrate, and it's disappointing to me that Ruth couldn't be there, but it was a great day.
Well done. Well, if there's no further comment, I'll put the recommendation that the delegates' reports be noted. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. We might move on to item 1 now, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Just a couple of things to bring to council's attention. One was that a while back we had questions in relation to the need to maintain the COVID-19 vaccination policy. So, as a matter of course, through the consultative committee, I asked all the consultative committee members to go back and speak with all of their all the staff in relation to whether this is a needed policy. Again, the feedback overwhelmingly was that it was not. Hence, I'll be recommending that we actually rescind the COVID-19 policy effective immediately. 49 Murrumbidgee Boulevard, Darlington Point. As I say here, the marketing has just commenced. And as I have alluded to in the time between writing this report and today, the property has been, we've accepted an offer on it, and it should go unconditional on the 27th of November, is my understanding of the contract. So 49 Murrumbidgee Boulevard should be sold. 12 Argoon Street is on track to be handed back to council before Christmas, and council just has to do a little bit of work in relation to that. I'll leave the other information in relation to the council housing replacement to the late report that I presented. We'll talk about that later on. Powell Street one way. The meeting on the 18th that council staff had with Transport for New South Wales was extremely positive, and we're in a stage now where we are doing our markups on our maps and what the signs would be, and then they go to a technical advisory group at Transport for New South Wales to tell us the exact size, shape, colours and all that sort of stuff for the one-way street for Powell Street. So Sam Shaw is working on that from our end at the moment, and then once that gets, Zach will send that off and we'll have it back as soon as possible, which will mean we'll be able to start putting the signings up for the one-way street of Powell Street. Community engagement strategy, as presented by Anne Lyons, who just said there attached to this report. Submitted for council's endorsement. It's a key strategy document and outlines our approach to engaging with the community, ensuring that all residents have opportunities to have input into all of our work that we do. So I'm recommending that we endorse the community engagement strategy. The Albury Hospital, Albury City recently passed a resolution, which is sitting there underneath the resolution as follows: Council 1 to 7. The resolution was 7 for, 2 against. It's, amongst other things, a single greenfield site hospital in Albury or Wodonga. It was presented to Ramjo, and Ramjo resolved to make the resolution available for members of councils to resolve in their own way. I just wanted to put forth some information in relation to there. There's 458 million worth of upgrades currently being committed and underway. Albury Albury is correct in saying that the current investment does not meet the 2021 clinical services plans. The investment's short on operating theatres, short on beds, short on most everything. But Councillor McRae and I have attended most nearly all of the discussions that have happened over the years in relation to this, and we've just got to ask the question of this stage one, similar to Wagga, and that's the thing that they're saying that there's not enough room at Albury, but we know that the Wagga Wagga site in square meterage is actually smaller than the site they've got at Albury to be able to deliver on their plans, the footprint. So the decision to support Albury on that is one for you to decide, not for me to recommend. Currently, there's 558 million being invested. If Albury and others get their position, will the 558 million be taken to other projects as money is tight? Would a better solution be to stop this objection immediately and work with the governments to secure stages 2 and 3 and whatever other stages to meet the 2021 clinical services plan by 2030? So I've just given a couple of options there for you to as recommended options is support Albury, which is number one. Council supports the current decision of the New South Wales and the Victorian Health to invest in the existing Albury Hospital site as a single service facility for Albury-Wodonga Health, and that we lobby for extra stages of funding to meet the 2021 clinical services plan. 3, take no position or any other thing for council. Also attached is a submission that has been compiled by Susie Leeds on behalf of council for the Select Committee on PFAS contamination in waterways and drinking supply submission. I'd be looking for it's to be with them on the 27th of November, so we've got a day, and I'd be looking for council to endorse this submission and sending it away for the upper house. Just a couple of little movements that are sitting there. Any questions, Councillor McRae?
As John said, we've attended most meetings or a lot of the meetings regarding the Albury-Wodonga Hospital redevelopment. And even as late as last week, the New South Wales Health Minister said there will be no rethinking of what's going to either this plan or and given the tenuous situation with state budgets, particularly the Victorian one, I couldn't in all conscience say, well, 558 million, keep it, we don't want it, we want this project instead. So I would speak strongly to recommendation to the option 2 for council supports the current decision of New South Wales and Victorian Health to invest in existing Albury Hospital site as a single service facility for Albury-Wodonga Health, and that we lobby strongly for extra stages of funding to meet the 2021 clinical services plan by 2030. That's that's a lot of money, and those of us that have been mindful of the redevelopment of the Wagga Wagga Base Hospital, it took 10 years, and it was done over 3 different stages. So I just I know it's not the position of Albury City Council, but I believe as a region that feeds into Albury, I think we can be very bloody minded about how we think, or we can choose to work with the government to engage to get the redevelopment. Well, the redevelopment's already started, and to support it and develop a really strong advocacy plan for stages 2 and maybe 3. As John pointed out, the site, the scale of the site is actually larger than the Wagga Wagga Base Hospital scale. So It's a very contentious issue. It did come before Ramjo and there was lots of conversation about it. So we made the decision there for each council to take it back to their councillors rather than try and get a consensus at the table. The conversation really highlighted the fact that there are differing opinions out there. But have any of you fellow councillors got any further comment, Christine?
I sort of think the 558 million is a bird in the hand, but I also know that Wagga is seriously underdone. Talking to a lot of the staff over there when Pete was in hospital, that facility in Wagga is not big enough and is not catering for the future. So I can understand why Albury City is taking the view that they're taking, but again, $558 million is already in the bag, so it's hard.
Just to add to that commentary, I do hear that is that Wagga is seriously under the pump, but once the Griffith Hospital's redevelopment is complete and the Albury-based hospital's redevelopment is progressed, that will perhaps take some of the heat off the Wagga Wagga-based hospital. And, you know, we ideally would all build for the future, but to build you have to have money. And I just think if we advocate for a staged development, using this 558 million as stage one, then we have a hope of getting, you know, the best outcome rather than taking the bloody minded approach that no way we're going to have a standoff.
I mean, you've got that new cancer
The cancer care centre, yes.
adjacent to it
Yes.
at the moment, don't you?
Yep.
Well, I've been to Griffith. Sorry, I've been to Wagga twice my family's been there twice in the last 12 months for emergencies. And the Wagga-based hospital is excellent.
Oh, yeah.
It is excellent. So,
It is.
And I had no complaints from the staff as you have had. But the staff were good and the facility is excellent. So
The staff
if you
are
can
great.
replicate that, it'd be in Albury, it'd be stage three-stage development. I can't see a problem with it.
So would you, if we're listening to the conversation here, is there one of these four options you would like council to take?
You said option two.
Number two, okay. Is that
The existing Albury site with the three-stage development.
Yep.
I noted that Berrigan Council did not support that, Albury at their meeting.
No,
I didn't.
no. So I think
You've got to go ahead.
I think it needs to move ahead, and while that is a bird in the hand, it's still 558 million, which will be taken somewhere else if we choose not to move forward with it.
How far are they in the development stage of that? Just at the pre-planning stages?
No, they've
No.
completed the ED, I believe, the
Right.
emergency department
And the mental health.
and the mental health.
Yep.
The concern is they've gone so far down the path and then you want to add to that, the infrastructure they put in first may not allow for stage 2 and 3
With that
to work with
Yeah.
what they've already developed, because they've obviously made it a certain size,
Yeah.
not to the 21, but you might want stage 2 or 3, but in the plans, it may not accommodate it. So you might get left with what you've got. So maybe Albury is saying, we don't like how it's going to end up because there's not enough capacity for the future. That's why they want to go to a green site.
Yeah.
So they can have the stage 1, 2, and 3. That's what I'm saying. How far are they down the path in expending that money to get a result where you won't have 2 and 3? You're just going to end up with what you have because they've already planned it, they're already building it. So you might lock yourself out of having that option, by doing that, by advocating for stage 2 and 3. The horse may have already been bolted.
But you've already got a $500 million structure there, maybe, which needs over 500 million on it.
Yeah, but might not.
Are you going to find 1,000 million to put
Or a billion.
a new site?
So
If you have,
$1 billion.
if you plan it and you have stage 1, 2, and 3, where you can invest that money over generations or over a 5 or 10 year period to achieve it. I'm just worried that if you've gone too far down the path, maybe it is best to pull out and build something that's got capacity at a greenfield site than boxing yourself in the constraints of design and planning.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm
the
saying.
Conversations we've had is that they're designing it so they can go up.
Yeah.
They can continue to build up, add stories, right?
Oh, that's
They've
bonus.
done
Good.
the footprint to add the stories.
Yeah, that's what
Right,
I've
so
done
there is
before.
capacity within
Yeah.
that site to achieve stage 2 and 3.
Yep.
Well, thumbs up. I reckon
And-
I'll agree with that
yeah.
one.
And the very real issue is that if you don't support what is going on, you won't get any development anyway, because
Right. Yep.
both state ministers for health have said no, they're not changing. They are not changing their mind on it.
And every person that's come up and they said, well, there'll be no room for car parking. Well, not concerned about car parking. There's public transport, there's buses, there's absolutely everything. But
But
straight across
hospital
the
does
road,
have enough car parking.
straight across the road, there is
City
a
Mall,
car
they
park
don't.
that's used now that can be a multi-story car park.
Well, that's what they've got. in
Which is
Melbourne.
what
they've
They've
done
got
in
5 story.
Yeah.
It's a multi-story car park.
So that could actually be one stage of the development
Yeah.
that,
Mhm.
yeah. So if it's the council's feeling that we support option 2 and we can draft
Add
a
that into there.
Yep. So
Was there anything else on the rescinding of the policies or the PFAS engagement or anything?
You
Councillor
want me to
Rice?
speak to the COVID
Yep.
rescission? I did look up, our Ranjo councils again to see what had happened, and out of the other 8 councils, Berrigan still has a vaccination policy.
Yep.
COVID is mentioned in the vaccination policy, but it is under review, and their next review is not till 2026 for that policy. But no other council has a vaccination policy at all.
Yep.
I don't know that it's a bad thing to have a vaccination policy, but
Yep.
they're general against communicable disease.
Mm-hmm.
So, John, council makes available annual flu injections.
Yes.
So that comes under a vaccination policy?
Mhm.
So,
No, it just
Well-
comes under our
WA.
WHS and
Okay.
things like that, but all of those with the communicable diseases, so it's hepatitis B or A shots or whatever they are, anybody that works in that field, they must have them or they can't work in that
Mm.
field.
Yep.
So.
And that is how Berrigan's
Yes.
vaccination policy reads.
Yes, exactly. So we, without a policy, we do it by stealth
Mm.
in exactly
Yep.
that way. So where they work, they get those
Okay.
vaccinations, which we pay for.
Just the last one of 6,
PFAS.
about PFAS. This is a great concern to me because everything we have here is downstream of Canberra and Wagga, and maybe even around where PFAS has been used, and we're downstream. So
Yeah.
Susie's doing a great job with
He
that.
has,
Yeah. So, and my first inkling was that our underground water wouldn't have it,
Coming from?
and it
No,
doesn't.
not at the moment.
No, not at the moment, it doesn't, but our overflow one,
We're downstream.
Can I also ask, the Powell Street one way,
Yep.
which has gone to Traffic New South Wales. So the intention is to relocate the charge station.
yes,
Does that have to go through Traffic New South Wales?
no.
No.
And the charge station's just going around the corner.
Yeah.
NRMA is decided to replace it with 2 charge stations in Powell Street there. So we're working with them on the best location. I said to Justin, speak to them. I'd like to have them positioned because I don't want them to be drive in or rear in parking. I
Yeah.
want them to parallel
Absolutely.
so that we can get ahead of the game if anybody's actually got a trailer or a caravan on and driving their EV that they can pull in there. So he's working with them on that design and Samshell on that end of which is beside the hall from that part of Powell
The
Street
western
there
end, yeah.
to the thing.
And the thing about Powell Street doesn't have to go to the traffic committee
Oh,
because
Well,
it's
it's the lines
not
and
a-
signs do, so we've got the
Lines and
lines and signs
Yeah.
from there. So
not,
we've
not,
done that,
not the actual
not
position.
that EV or the one-way decision.
so is that relocation won't affect our redevelopment of the road
No.
structure and
No, not at
just
all.
leave it till then? And
Well, we'll make the provisions, they'll tell us what they want, The power's already there, so they'll probably put some big honking conduits in there to some point where they think it's going to be, and then they'll come along and do it.
Okay, Councillor Major.
Yeah, so just I think the engagement strategy is an excellent document, and I encourage all our residents to read up on that, understand how, why, and when we engage with them. I think it's a good little ready reckoner. And then just on the submission, I've got a little bit different take on it. So on the PFAS, so it's a new issue. So in here it does talk, in our submission we talk about getting more understanding through research. I fully endorse that, but then we sort of make some comments that probably jump the gun a bit, I think, and it may be just my lack of understanding. So, for example, we've talked about supporting the ban or limit of PFAS use and implementation. Is there any products that we use in the agriculture sector that contain these PFAS?
Go to the environmental scientist.
So what I'm saying is, so could we have unintended consequences by supporting, banning and limiting that we're relying on agriculture here. So we've seen it in other chemicals where we're getting restricted use and banning. So what's your knowledge, I guess, Gary, or what's your understanding?
Be a very short answer. I honestly don't know. My very brief knowledge of it, it's mostly in firefighting foam, which is the cause of most comment about it. It also occurs in Teflon, so a lot of cooking, lots of pans happening.
Yep.
But in agricultural comments, I'd have to take that on notice and get some information back to you.
I've not ever heard of any PFAS in any
But
of
the other thing is, you're talking about other chemicals that could get done like this,
So also, I'm very supportive of more research. I'm also very supportive of the recommendations about small councils needing funding if we do find it. We need some help. I just think just that, and about the testing of livestock, etc. I think that's a problem. As in, from Australian, we've got such high standards, yet we import meat and whatever else that don't have the same standards. I just see red tape. Do I want to support that in a submission? Probably not. If I had more research and understanding and it was very definitive, yes. But so I just think maybe change some of the words a little bit to soften it a little bit on them two topics.
Fair enough. Can be done. And this is information that I've gleaned over time from different sources and things like that. That like the meat and livestock accreditation, right? When you're filling out all your accreditation forms, there's questions there. Is there wind farms close to you, right? And they want to know about the wind farms close to you because apparently each of those windmills can shed around about 60 kilograms of plastics every single year and goes onto the ground and gets consumed by the animals. So we don't want the PFAS. We don't want the plastics falling off all of these things and being digested by our animals. So if there's a way that the meat testing is actually showing that it's there, we might get rid of the ridiculed green dream of the windmills and everything else like that and go nuclear, right? So there's double-edged swords to things. We need to be able to have the testing on all of this stuff so that we can prove that the things that they're trying to do to save the environment is actually killing us.
So and obviously I've got a conflict of interest here because I see the testing. Who's going to be slugged for the testing?
Yeah.
The beef producer as a levy. So that's where I'm concerned. The more red tape, more regulation you bring in as a primary producer. I fully agree that the turbine operators should have to test whether it's a soil test or whether that's a alternative rather than animal testing. So therefore they have to do it. That's all I'm trying to think of, John.
No,
Save my own bacon.
And you're right, Councillor Major, that if it becomes a regulatory requirement, will it be government subsidised?
Yeah.
That's a very real question.
Maybe we should
Yeah,
highlight that in.
that's right.
That should be government, because it's a public health issue. It's not the farmer
Yep.
really as much.
So the world, well, Australia is completely ludicrous on a lot of things. Like all the tallow that comes out of our abattoirs does not meet any standard for any of our food stuff. So it all goes to Japan, and then it turns around and comes back to us, right? And because it's come back to us and met Japan standards, it's automatically fine for us. The same with wild pigs going into sausage over to bloody Germany. They take it, it's fine, but we can't consume it here.
Yeah.
And then it's fine to come back. So this is I can see exactly that we test our meat. It's got PFAS in it. We can't use it, but we're not testing anything that's coming from out overseas, and it's got 10 times the amount.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just total ridiculous.
So if that lens can be put over that again, that would be appreciated.
Yeah. Gary's got that written down to make those changes.
Are there any further questions for John? If not, would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Spawn, that the information contained in the General Manager's monthly report be noted, and Council will A, rescind the COVID-19 vaccination policy adopted by Council on the 29th of March 2022, resolution number 29, that is slash,
Yep.
29032022, effective immediately. B, endorse the Community Engagement Strategy 2024 to 2028. C, endorse the submission on PFAS contamination in waterways and drinking water supplies and submit same to the Upper House Select Committee. And D, support the current decision of New South Wales and Victorian Health to invest in the existing Albury Hospital site as a single service facility for Albury Wodonga Health, and that we lobby for extra stages of funding to meet the 2021 Clinical Services Plan by 2030. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item number 2, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. The audited financial statements. Streaming in online, we have Aubrey from the Audit Office, and we have Dylan from RSD. The recommendation is for Council to the audits that the audit special encompassing general financial statements be adopted, and I'll hand over to Dylan or Aubrey to say what they're online to say. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, and good afternoon to all of you. Thank you for the opportunity and invitation to talk to you about this year's financial statement audit for Murrumbidgee Council. So we have completed our audit for the general purpose financial statement, special purpose financial statement, and the permissible income. And I am pleased to report that we issued clean audit opinions on 30 October 2024 for your council's financial statement for the year ended 30 June 2024. It means that the financial statement contains no material misstatement and present fairly. And so I would like to thank management and everyone involved in the process, in particular the finance team, for their professionalism and cooperation in the conduct of the audit. Dylan is the manager from RSD Audit, who is our service provider. I'll pass him to him to give highlights in the report on the conduct of audit.
Perfect. Thank you, Aubrey. So just to provide a brief overview of the report of the conduct of audits. So the Office of Local Government Code sets out what needs to be covered by this report. So as you can see in note G41 of the financial statements, there are 6 key performance ratios which are audited within the general purpose financial statements. So Council has met 3 of those 5 industry benchmarks, with one of the indicators not actually being applicable to Council due to Council not having borrowings in place. The 2 that weren't achieved related to the operating performance ratio and the own source operating revenue ratio. So the operating performance ratio specifically, so Council did not meet this benchmark for the current financial year due to increased expenses. So increased expenses of 2.2 million along with 1.9 million decrease in operating revenue. So increase in expenses was mainly due to an increase in employee related expenses and material and service expenses. So the decrease in revenue was mainly due to a decrease in operating grants and contributions by around 3 million. So this shows that the operating expenditure is not within the operating revenue. That's the benchmark there. The other benchmark that wasn't achieved relates to the own source operating revenue ratio. So council did not meet this benchmark for the current year. However, the result is comparable with the last 2 years. Total continuing operating revenue, excluding grant and contributions, has increased by 1.2 million. However, the total of continuing operating revenue, including grants and contributions, has increased by 5 million, hence the decrease in the ratio. I'd like to touch on with Aubrey. I'd just like to thank management for all their efforts throughout the audit. It's been great to build the relationship with the team, and yeah, happy to take any questions.
Any questions, councillors?
Well, my only comment is we will never have the ability to have own source revenue. I do not understand why it is still a benchmark that we should be meeting. Other than that, I have no comment.
Ditto. Any other comment?
I just wanted to ask,
Speak up, please, Christine.
on page 57, we've got number 5 rates, annual charges, interest and extra charges. And we're sitting at an indicator rate of 9.39%, which is up from last year. Is that because of non-payment of rates, or is that due to something else?
Sorry,
Pretty
just
much
trying
right.
to.
So on the same page you're on, G4.1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whilst it's still below the benchmark, you'd be absolutely correct. Our arrears have increased.
Right.
Hence why we had the policy
Yes.
update. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Are there any
Try and
further
type that up.
any further comments or questions? Thank you very much, Dylan and Aubrey. It would appear that our council staff have worked exceptionally hard to get the information to you. While we would like to think we will be able to increase that own source revenue, the cold hard reality is we do what we can, but short of building a printer, we're not going to be able to increase our revenue. So we are working and operating within our means, and I think we are very financially responsible in how we go about doing what we do, given we're a small rural council. So I think it's a very pleasing result for Murrumbidgee Council at this stage. Thank you. Any further questions? No?
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Have a wonderful
you.
day.
Thank you so much. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
The resolution, Councillor Frames.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So would somebody like to move the recommendation? Councillor Strawn, seconded Councillor Churgwin, and the recommendation will read that the audited financial statements encompassing the general purpose financial statements, the special purpose financial the general purpose financial statements, the special purpose financial statements, and the special schedules for the year ended 30th of June 2024 be adopted. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 3, please.
Thank you to you, Madam Mayor. Item 3 presents the council our 2023-2024 annual report. Councils are required to prepare and submit at the end of within 5 months at the end of the financial year annual report to the Minister for Local Government. This report is to present the outcome and achievements of Council's operational activities over the last 12 months. Council's meeting communication officer has prepared the final report. Council to consider and endorse before sending it to the Minister. The copy's been presented to Council today, and if I may speak personally, I think it's just a great document which outlines the information very very easily read way, covers all of our activities for the last 12 months.
Thank you. Councillors, are there any questions of Gary, please? If not, I'd just like to make a comment. I think it's a great report. It's readable. It speaks very clearly to how we work, how we prioritise things, our engagement and integration with our community. And I would like to commend Anne, who I assume has put this document together. Did you, Anne?
Yes.
Yes. We've got the right person. It's no mean feat to put together a document or a report that is readable and people are interested in reading and picking up. And I've just been watching the councillors, so they're very interested in the commentary regarding the photography, the way it's presented, how it reads. So congratulations on a job well done, and thank you very much. So would somebody, if there's no question, Councillor Major.
I just want to reiterate what you've said. It is a great read, and I think, yeah, the council and the staff should be pretty proud of themselves, all the actions, etc. they've completed, the high rate. Just one question. So our staff turnover rate is higher, is 11.22. Last time I've seen it was about 5.65. Is that due to retirements, John, or what's happening there? Or is that acceptable, you think?
Yeah, it's probably, we have had some retirements. So definitely had some retirements. We've had some people start and not last the entire 3 months. They've chosen that it's not the place to be for them, which is fair enough as well. But I'd like to see it below 10%. We have had about 3 or 4 retirements this year. When you think about it.
That's all. Yeah.
All right, any further commentary or questions? If not, somebody like to move, please. Moved Councillor Bryce, seconded Councillor Major, and the recommendation will read: the council endorsed the Murrumbidgee Council annual report for the year 2023-2024, and the report be published on council's website. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 4, please.
We had a request from the Australia Day Committee in Jerilderie to lift the prohibition of alcohol to be consumed in the vicinity of the council chambers, the Civic Hall, Luke Park and Powell Streets for midday to midnight on the 26th of January 2024, Australia Day, of course, and allow the signs to be covered and notify police and advertise. Any questions? We do this every year, virtually.
Anybody can make the day or the night. It's a very good day.
Yep.
Somebody like to move the recommendation? Move Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Major, and the recommendation will read: the council will resolve to 1, allow the prohibition on the consumption of alcohol in the vicinity of the council chambers, Civic Hall, Luke Park and Powell Street be lifted from midday to midnight on the 26th of January 2025. Allow the prohibition signs to be covered during the period of the celebrations. 3, notify the local police, and 4, advertise council's action. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 5, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Item 5 is the quarterly budget review, September 2024. It was separately produced into an A3 page for you to be able to make it easier read is the proposed changes to the budget review, and within the context of your papers you actually see the budget with the proposed changes added in, so you can see how it has an effect on the council. So the new activities and the timing changes and calculations and differences. Usually for the first September quarter, you pick up on everything that has been carried forward that you didn't imagine was going to be carried forward when you set the budget in May the previous year. So there's some timing changes in there. There's a couple of activities in there. We've added a new activity such as the SES shed in Darlington Point and the SES shed in Jerilderie, some CCTV at Collyamberley, council laptops and so on and so forth. There's a few other things there. Is there any questions on the proposed changes?
Any further questions of John?
Just wanted
Councillor
to ask-
Churchman?
Just wanted to ask about the SES sheds. Are we getting any contribution from anywhere else for those?
No.
No.
We have to fund them ourselves.
Hence the reason why we've gone down the track of we'll be funding the storage of the equipment. So even in the event of whatever, the equipment stored there, the council can grab the sandbags, all the equipment and everything else like that and respond as we do on a lot of things. So that equipment will still be there. So they're all both going to be co-located, one beside the RFS in Darlington Point and the other one behind the RFS in Jerilderie. So they'll be able to share facilities if they like each other.
And that is the only option.
Yeah.
But we're not building two lots of facilities with full training rooms and bathrooms and kitchens and things like that. That's considering we have to build it. We are encouraging shared collaborative approach to emergency services. I'm sure it'll work.
Yeah. Back in my day, we just had Hessian out the back. So why would the young whippersnappers want them
And a bucket.
now?
Okay, are there any further questions or comments of John? I'd like to make a comment. I think this is a great way to present it.
Yeah.
It's readable, and it's very succinct. It speaks to what we need to know. Okay, somebody like to move. Did we do that? No? Somebody like to move, please. Move Councillor Churchman, secondly Councillor Major. And the recommendation will read that the quarterly budget review be noted and variances to the budget as outlined therein be approved. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 6, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Item 6 is the sale of land for unpaid rates. Council has gone through all of our systems and we've identified those properties that have rates and charges remaining unpaid for over 5 years. We've identified them there in the recommendation that we proceed with the sale for the land of unpaid rates on approximately 28 separate properties. So this is stage one. We don't just go out to we don't just run out tomorrow and put an auction sign on all of these blocks and have them auctioned next week. There's a process that we must follow. That is notification and running through and speaking and identifying and verifying everything along these lines. It is my intention. There are specific people out there, companies, firms that will carry this through to ensure that every I is dotted and T is crossed, to ensure that the process is handled correctly. I'll be seeking for one of those companies in the next week or so, and put them in the hand of them, and they will work with our team here at council to go through. So probably the major thing is there that if anybody is online that have got these properties and they've got outstanding rates, the easiest way to have them not be sold is pay the rates. So, Councillor Black.
My question to you, General Manager, is if a property is sold for more than the value of the rates, what happens to the money that is above what is owed to council and any charges of council?
So if a single property goes right through this process and we are the ones who auction it at the end of the day, and it is sold for more than what the rates and the charges are that are attributed to it, the balance gets returned to the owners of the property.
Thank you very much.
Are there any further questions of the General Manager?
I just want to make comment that through our audit presentation just moments ago, it was realised that our ratio is increasing of debt to rates, and also that it is noted that council staff will be the ones at the forefront of phone calls, etc., and that they're well supported by councillors in what's going to be happening at their office.
That's a point well made, Councillor Bryce. Any further commentary or questions? If not, somebody like to move?
No need to add all that. You can just,
Move Councillor Sacks, seconded Councillor Major. And the recommendation will read that council proceed with the sale of the following land for unpaid rates and charges subject to the conditions of the Local Government Act 1993. And as the General Manager stated, there are 28 properties. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Aye. Those against, carried. Thank you. Item 7, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Item 7 relates to council delegates to the Western Regional Planning Panel. Regional planning panels are independent bodies that strengthen the decision-making process for planning, and they generally deal with development applications over $5 million for infrastructure developments, such as solar farms, or council developments, or general applications that aren't integrated, over $30 million. Council has 2 existing delegates, Mayor Ruth McRae and Deputy Mayor Rob Black, whose memberships will cease at the end of this year. Council is required to have delegates to the regional planning panel, and the recommendations suggest to council that we allocate 2 delegates and some alternate delegates in case 2 delegates can't make it. We've had 4 nominations, 2 for the delegates, Councillor Ruth McRae and Deputy Mayor Councillor Rob Black, and 2 nominations for alternate delegates, being Councillor Faith Price and Councillor Robert Curfey. So the recommendation is that council nominate 2 delegates, and the recommendation does say up to 4, but we'll go with 2 alternate delegates.
Okay, would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Strawn, seconded Councillor Churgman, and the recommendation will read on the motion of Councillor Strawn and Churgman, the council nominate delegates Mayor Ruth McRae and Deputy Mayor Robert Black, and 2 alternate delegates, Councillor Faith Bryce and Councillor Robert Curfey, to the Western Regional Planning Panel for a 3-year term from December 2024 to December 2027. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 8, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Item 8 relates to an amendment to the existing voluntary planning agreement the council has with the Yenko Delta Wind Farm. As council knows that the Yenko Delta Wind Farm has been sold to Origin Energy, and as a result of that, they have sought to amend the details within the voluntary planning agreement from the Yenko Delta Wind Farm Proprietary Limited, in brackets Vera Energy Proprietary Limited, in brackets, to the Yenko Delta Wind Farm Project Proprietary Limited as trustees for the Yenko Delta Wind Farm Project Trust. Any amendment to a voluntary planning agreement needs to be publicly exhibited for 28 days, and it's recommended in this report to council place the amendment on public exhibition for a period of 28 days before it's brought back to council.
did they speak to you about amending the contribution up at all, or they just want to change the name?
Only change.
Oh, all right. Did you ask?
No.
You didn't. Okay. Missed an opportunity there. We're going in for an amendment. We should say, we can change the 5 million to 5.5. Yeah, not a
I
problem.
didn't want to risk 5 million.
So, Gary, I'm assuming this is just a formality.
Yes, it's just administrative.
Okay, would somebody, any questions of Gary? No? Would somebody like to move the recommendation? Move Councillor Major, seconded Councillor Murphy. And the recommendation will read, the council place on public notification the amended voluntary planning agreement applying to the Yanko Delta Wind Farm State Significant Development 417-43746, which proposes to change the details of the development to the Yanko Delta Wind Farm Project Proprietary Limited, ABN 42676356915, as trustee for the Yanko Delta Wind Farm Project Trust for a period of 28 days. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 9, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 9 relates to the annual report council is required to submit on our code of conduct statistics in relation to any conduct complaints made against councillors or the general manager. The recommendation is that the code of conduct complaints be submitted or be noted as there were no code of conduct complaints made against any councillors or general manager in the period of September 2023 to 31 August 2024. These statistics have also been reported back to the Department Office of Local Government in accordance with our procedures.
Okay. Somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Roll, seconded Councillor Saxby. Are there any questions of Gary, please? My comment is that I'm very proud of this council, both the elected members and the operational staff. They obviously have an ability to work through contentious issues or difficult situations in a respectful and timely manner, and that's something to be commended because it's not always the case. So well done, everybody. If there's no further questions, the recommendation will read that Council Note A, there was no code of conduct complaints made against councillors or the General Manager during the period 1 September 2023 to 31st of August 2024. And B, these statistics have been reported to the Office of Local Government in accordance with the procedures for the administration of the Murrumbidgee Council Code of Conduct. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 10, please.
Thank you. Through you, Madam Mayor. Item 10 relates to the endorsement of the Western Riverina Regional Drought Resilience Plan. Council will be aware that Council joined a consortium of local councils, surrounding councils, here with funding provided by New South Wales Government, a drought resilience plan. The process now has been completed, and the plan is now presented to Council for endorsement.
Hey, somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Kirby, seconded Councillor Black. Are there any questions, please, with Gary?
Just a quick
Councillor Churgwin?
Given all that was in there, how likely do you think is that when we do hit another drought that all this will come to fruition? Or is it just words?
So some of that's, it's obviously created a number of, there's 5 main strategies and there's a bunch of actions under each one of those. So I guess it provides a guidance for council as well as the community and industry players such as the agricultural sector. Obviously, it's a guideline that they could follow and on make the impact of the drought much less severe.
Councillor Major.
Just reading it really, and this table here that shows the vulnerability of Murrumbidgee Council, particularly as we start relying on agriculture compared to the counterparts of like Griffith, Leighton. So this certainly is something that we need to be mindful. I think it is a good guideline. I think it's got some good ideas in it that we could adopt pretty quickly.
And it also would provide some backing to any grant applications that may be available. That we
Very
could say
good.
that we've
Yes.
addressed all this.
That would be very, yeah. It says like potential drought impact is on a scale of 0 to 1, or we're 0.9, which is like high, where Griffith City was 0.2, Leighton was 0.18, and Miranda is 0.22. So a very good point there, Gary. You're always thinking, aren't you, getting a bit more money in. But it would, I think it would help us a lot.
I think going to contribute to drought resilience is the fact that the federal government's doing a lot of water buybacks, which impacts heavily on our council.
Yes.
Well, we can't do anything
No.
about that, but we can have in place research and plans that speak very clearly to how we move forward.
It was a very good report. I actually enjoyed reading it.
Okay.
Hey, fine.
Uh,
Yeah, no, it's okay. It's okay. I can take constructive criticism. Would somebody like to move? Did we do that? Somebody like to
we
move?
did. Good. Councillor Kirby moved it.
Councillor Pepe, would you like to speak to this report?
No, I think it's a really good step in the right direction.
Fantastic. Thank you for your contribution. Somebody like to second it?
Councillor Blackbeard.
Yep.
Did not.
Well, you don't get to speak because you didn't move it, okay? So if there's no further comment, the recommendation will read, Council endorse the Western Riverina Consortium Regional Drought Resilience Plan for submission to the New South Wales State Government. And if you can remember that name, you can have a beer at the end of the day. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carry. Thank you. Item 11, please.
Item 11 is the Tidy Towns Committee meeting from October. I don't think if anybody has any questions.
I've got a question. How much does the BNS ball raise for the community?
A lot.
Sorry, I don't know.
Okay, no, because you got $1,500 for the cleanup.
They
it's-
certainly don't divest the funds immediately. They keep them. They've got projects in mind that they are raising funds for. I think they're quite large projects.
And I believe they were a gold sponsor of the John Monash and the Bushranger.
Yes, yeah.
So that's some money that's come back downtown, which was evident there 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they are very generous with the other committees that help them run the event.
Yeah.
Because without them, they can't do it all on their own.
And I do know that last year they contributed $100,000 to the refurbishment of the nursing home accommodation at GMPS. So they do divest the money back into the community. Yep. So, Councillor Bross, would you like to move that
Yes,
your report be noted?
There is another meeting, I think. They want to join them together.
Later on, is it?
We'll go move forward. So, Councillor Bross, you have no further comments?
No.
Having moved it, somebody like to second it, please? Councillor Strong. And the recommendation will be that the Tidy Towns Committee meeting minutes be noted. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Thank you. Item number 12, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. It's the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee meeting minutes. Can hand over to the council delegate, Councillor Major, if he wishes to speak to.
Sure, John. Yeah, no, I thought it was a very thorough meeting. I think it was very good to have particular Linda and Steve with outside eyes and their experiences with local government to look over our finances. They asked lots of good questions, which Caitlin was able to, or her team, Caitlin and her team were able to answer. But one of the outcomes is the new reporting that she's given us. I think there was a recommendation through that committee to about the reporting. And yeah, I think it's probably the note you made there, John, is about, yeah, you wrote this, didn't you? No, Caitlin did. Is about our restricted cash position only being 143,000. Do you want to speak to that a little bit? Explain that, John?
Yeah, just
and what our target was.
So our target's always $1.5 million, but it was only ended up being $143,000 purely because of timing. The accounting standards allows us to expense, but not allow us to expense in the accrual world, but not income in the accrual world. So we have some close to $3.5 million outstanding in relation to, they might be grants that we've acquitted and haven't been paid for. Flood damage money was in there and other things like that. And in previous years, that $3.5 million has been in the order of about 1.2 to 1.6, and we've had a unrestricted cash of around the $2 million mark. So when you see what could have been if the end of the financial year might have been a day or two later, could have been a completely different unrestricted cash number associated in the financial statements.
And the other thing that's come out of that meeting, and Bruce did refer to it a little bit earlier, is so the employment expenses were up compared to budget, and part of that questioning was that yes, some of that's from the Children Early Learning Centre, which has put that above, and that's there. Then Ruth suggested that maybe we break down some of these business or within the whole council to go through them and understand, what's the costs and what's the income and expenses from each area, I guess, of the whole council. So yeah, if we can, Caitlin can take us through one area each meeting to just get into the detail a little bit so we understand really where our money's coming and going.
Yeah, I support that line of thinking, Councillor Major, because it's not that we think we can do a better job, it's just that we have a better understanding of the costs involved. So I think it's very valuable for all of us sitting at the table if we have that level of information. Anything else, Councillor Major? No? So, Councillor Major, would you like to move?
Yep.
Okay. Move Councillor Major, seconded Councillor Black. Any further comment, Councillor Major?
No.
No. All right. Well, the recommendation will be that the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee meeting minutes be noted. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 13, please.
I'll give that to you, Gary.
I was going to pass on to.
Oh, you
Yeah, happy to speak to it. Very fruitful meeting. There hadn't been a meeting since June 2019. So it was good to reflect on. There was a couple of outstanding action items that were very easily ticked off, but just as we didn't have a meeting in the interim, they never happened. So that was really good. Yeah, so we focused on just the here and now things that need attention. Then we looked at the plan, the master plan, and had our wish list, and everyone had some input into that, which was really good. And then we looked at the user agreement, which I need to get some comments back to Heidi on that. But no, it was a very good meeting. And it also just gives that pathway for the future for what we want to achieve there. And Michaela can look for some grants that match that wish list and see how we go.
We're also getting some plans done, designed for the kitchen.
Yep.
So if there's funding available, we'll be able to have that all ready to go. And there was also considerable discussion about the existing old grandstand.
Yes, there was. Yeah. You want to elaborate or yeah?
Well, that was my first meeting, and there was some discussion about the future of the old grandstand and potential of it remaining and being renovated, or it being demolished and that space opened up. So the operation of the Monash Park flows a little bit better without it being there. But there was no decision made. It was just a lot of discussion.
I think the point to make, while it doesn't have that heritage overlay, it has a significant historical point for our community here in Chiraldry, which might sound fluffy, but that's just how it is. But I'm not sure I would agree that the netball change rooms be converted into a multi-purpose room.
The old netball change room.
Yeah. I think we have enough space there for our netballers, female footballers, whomever, to be adequately catered for in change rooms and whatever. And I'm not, unless you pay for somebody to supervise people in a playroom or whatever, I think it's a very bad idea to move forward with that.
May I ask you, Councillor, about the opening of the netball courts?
You can, it went very well. as the mayor said in her report, that it was combined with a day with a diamond, which is excellent. She was a really good ambassador for netball, and also the number of kids. Great opportunity for an Australian, actual Australian athlete to come to our tiny little town and participate in a day with her was really great. Great support. Origin were really good as well, as in supporting. They put on lunch, drinks.
And where'd the funding come from?
For the diamond in the day was from Origin,
And for the
Energy.
netball courts.
and for the netball courts was through the Stronger Country Community. No,
A wholly different grant, wasn't it?
No, it's
Everyone.
Stronger
Yep.
Country Communities Round 4.
Yeah.
And the specification around it was that 50% of it had to be spent on women's
Women's
sport.
in sport. Yeah.
But
So
all
that-
went to-
So it all went to women's sport here.
So yeah, state government invested well there, and certainly, I think Justin Clancy was a great advocate for us in getting that as well, and certainly internally, Vicky Sutton
Yeah.
really drove that project, identified the funding available, and got the netball committee on board as it was back then, but now it's the Drury Football Netball Club. It's a great asset, it really is, and when you just get to have a look at it, you'll be quite surprised by just the size of it and the facilities and amenities in there. So it's really good.
And we just like to thank the council staff for the civil works they did around it to bring it up to scratch for Saturday, because that took a bit of work. And I'd just like to endorse Troy's words of thanks to Vicky Sutton in particular, who did a power of work in ensuring that money came to the table. So it was a great day. The Origin people certainly are putting their best feet forward to ensure that the community embraces their wind farm out there, up north. But they had 4 people here on Saturday, and they spoke to many people. They spoke to the kids. They spoke to some of the coaches, previous netball committee people. They have done a good job. So, and the Diamond for the Day initiative is very powerful, especially when you get an ambassador of the likes of Jo Weston. She's a really decent human, and she worked really hard. She didn't only engage with the kids. She wanted to help set up. She helped pack up. She was not a passenger. She was very engaged. So it was a great initiative, and congratulations to council for getting a major project completed. But not that you don't normally, but sometimes things take a long time. But
Yeah.
this was good at her time. On it, but he doesn't like his things like that. But I think it was really commendable that we were able to get it done on time. So.
And just quickly on Jo, she did have dinner the night. Coaches, and there was 2 people from Colleen Club brought it down for it as well, and things like that. Yeah,
Now, my last question is, you've got a map here on my master plan.
Yep.
It just says old bowling green vacant plot.
Yep.
Is that owned by somebody, or is it just a vacant plot?
is it'll be, so obviously it's right on the boundary of the netball courts. There is some more parking area that would be 10 pages.
So that's the whole block,
Yeah, yeah.
including, okay.
There's 2 owners. There's the residents there at the moment.
And there's the 2 blocks owned by someone else.
2 titles.
I just wanted to make note that having past experience with the sport club and the netball club, that just being these list of wants and maintenance issues and everything, don't assume that they require council to do the bulk of it. The football netball club are very, very good at funding their projects.
Making them happen. So I think the community as a whole really values Smiling Park and the facility that it is. but it does take to do with the audit to make it the breakthrough thing to do. So that's what we've got. So, are there any further questions of Councillor Major?
But yeah, just recommend the other communities there have their meetings, their user group meetings. I think they're very beneficial.
So Gary, you have it filled up that they are going to happen in the other two communities? Yes. Yes, please. So that's encouraging. So, Councillor Major, would you like to move that the Monash Park Advisory Committee meeting minutes be noted?
I move that they be noted. Yes.
Okay, somebody like to second that? Councillor Vaughan, no further comments, Councillor Major? No? Therefore, I'll put the recommendation, those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 14, please.
Thank you, Councillor Cray. It's the Third Highway Task Force, meeting minutes. As everybody will remember, Councillor Cray alluded to this meeting that we had held jointly with, the Rural Highway Task Force, which, Murrumbidgee Council is a member of both. And we had 2 hours with, the Minister for, Regional Transport, Jenny Atkinson, and, I concur with, Councillor McRae's, thoughts on the Minister. Very engaging. She knew her stuff. She took the microphone away from Transport for New South Wales employees and actually told us what was going on and things like that when, wasn't saying that they were and ahhing, but probably more along the lines they were thinking, what can I actually say about this question? So she grabbed it and she answered the question. Totally transparent, totally everything. So we've got a champion of the Minister in that portfolio for regional transport and roads. And there's a great working relationship with Transport for New South Wales all over. Just the fact that we have regular meetings, and unless I can't make them, with Joanne Fisher from the office, and we've had certain things being brought up there that have identified things. So we've had conversations in relation to this intersection down there. They put a camera there and they turned all our anecdotal evidence into hard data. So they look forward to ways forward. The same approach as we're taking with our consultation at the moment with the community to give us the near misses. If we can provide some near misses and different things like that, if we can show to them some anecdotal information, then hopefully we'll get some cameras put up that they can start actually seeing some real data, and then they'll be able to start making some decisions on our 3 roads that we've identified that need some infrastructure put in. But in relation to the Third Highway Task Force, the task force meeting actually was only our second meeting. We signed off on our terms of reference. We set our dates for next year for our 4 meetings. We've already had indication from Hay to host a meeting. I've spoken with Wentworth. They wish to host a meeting next year as well. So we've had a couple of other councils along the way to put their hand up for the other 2 meetings. But we've gone and we have opened the membership up to the councils along the Third Highway, but we're also inviting Transport for New South Wales reports to us. And if they're not attached, or we haven't sent through the reports from Joanne, a bit on here of the attached to the minute. So she did a report. We'll get that sent out to you. And this gave us we wanted to know the statistics on the crashes, and she did the Third Highway, the Newell Highway, and the Hume Highway. Right? And when you put it in the perspective of the volume of traffic, and break it down, yes, the Third Highway is a smaller route, but the statistics are higher on virtually all 3 of them. If you take all the fender benders that happen within the Greater Sydney area of the Hume Highway, if you took them out, because most of them are contribute to all the crashes on the Hume Highway, It's just if you're coming in where it's all gridlock. So it does shine a strong light on that we've got a strong position to advocate for the third highway to improve the safety along there. I don't think there's any doubt about that. When you think about over the past 5 years, they've invested close to 27 million on this third highway. In the past 5 years, we're probably close to $800 million on the middle highway being invested. So it's up to us to just keep on advocating through this organisation. But as I say, the other members there, we're always inviting the local members, both state and federal, when we're in their patch. And we had apologies from Susan Lee and Steph Cook, but in saying that, one of Susan Lee's staff members was on the line and was listening to the conversation. Sorry. And one of Steph Cook as well. So they participated in that. New South Wales Police, Jason Dunn was there, and he was just speaking to him afterwards. He was he sort of thought that he might have been a square peg in a round hole, but he got a lot out of it from hearing what was presented and everything else like that. So we want them to keep on from turning up and actually presenting to us of what they see, what the police see. Happy to have the RFS and everybody else turn up or anybody else with the road for the VRA to tell us what's going on. It can only add to the knowledge that we can feed through to Transport for New South Wales with the improvements that we have.
Good question. When they were doing their statistics, did they do just statistics on the number of crashes, or did they do fatalities as well?
They did it all. They did a lot. That's the way.
They did the whole lot, and they made a point of taking out Greater Sydney.
Yep.
Third highway's not in good shape. Yeah. By the high only area.
And it's broken down by motorbikes, trucks, cars, whatever. Trailer vehicles, like that, all those different statistics.
And drugs and
Oh, okay.
drugs and everything else they can load out.
I think the motorbikes were, well, they probably shouldn't have been a surprise, but they were fairly high.
I think it's the seven half quarters, like this one with Murrumbidgee Council is seven, are totally dependent on the engagement and involvement. And to have that many people in the room was very commended. And I commend John on developing his relationship with John because John had to do a lot of work in that area. His direct relationship with his stage, which is delivering to information. So, yeah, it's very
There's a local girl, who's Mara or somewhere around there. And has she been there to see you yet, John? Since that meeting?
No. Scheduled for next week. Right.
Yeah.
So, it's a clear example of the effort and effort you put into it is what you get back into. So, it was good to have both the school and the mill in the room at the same time. So we have the chair for 2 years for the Sturt Highway Task Force 2 years. So we will be pulling out all the guns to get it as service as we can.
Yeah, on the main point that you raised, there's news to actions, it needs to go to the FRITP. Have we entered those items into the actual big word is for strategic regional integrated transport plans?
Right. So
have they
where they're up to with those, they haven't started in our area yet.
Right. It says here we have to put them into their website, so we've done that.
No, because they haven't opened up the planning yet.
Okay.
For our area.
They've been doing it in the Humphrey Union Room.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you. Those points are critical points and they're documented there.
Yeah.
So when it becomes available, we'd be right to go.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Just one question. One of the things I noticed, and I think a lot of people, with all the dark and black and gray cars, why hasn't, and this is something that really bothers me, when you're trying to talk, I think it should be made law that people have their lights on 24/7.
Right.
Because, no, it is I would like to see if it was put in for 12 months to 18 months.
Yeah.
The reduction of fatality on our roads, and I don't know why it is not made law.
I don't know why they had cars that colour.
They're really, really hard to see. I mean, you just take the Cuba stretch from Murrumbidgee to the point. That's a straight stretch of road.
Yeah.
Even coming from College to Drury, it's a straight stretch of road. But if the sun, if it's a day like today or whatever, and you can't see those colored cars, and a lot of times, you know, even on daybreak in the morning when people are going to work, they think it's light enough without it. And this is where I would really like to see if they did something like that for a year to 2 years, put in place with law to see the reduction in fatality on our roads.
And I don't think they've been able to buy a vehicle in North America for the past 25 years that hasn't, the lights aren't automatically on when you drive because of that.
But you know who the biggest offenders on our roads are youth. They have the power, but they don't put their lights on. And, you know, and then you've got your older vehicles, which you can't do much about. But if it was made law that they had to be on, I know my lights automatically come on if I've got a newer car. But the point is that it should be made law. And then the stats might be a little bit different than what they are now.
There is a component of transport in New South Wales that is running to education, public education. So perhaps we would advocate for that in that space. That's fine.
I think it's something seriously needs to be looked at.
Well, I think if somebody like to,
Excuse me. Out of that meeting, Minister Danny Atkinson told us about a have your say .newsouthwales.gov.au that you can actually, it's an interactive map and you can put a pen on a map and put down your complaint about that problem. It could be a bridge, it could be a corner, or it could be anything. So,
But this is a general problem, not just on the Sturt or the Hill, it's right across the board.
but this will highlight and tell them in Sydney if you've got a problem.
we were talking about the intersections and the glass
Wherever you think.
and things like that.
You can put down.
This would be an avenue to identify that, to
Hidden way onto the mule. I'll
Everywhere.
I'll
The whole thing.
definitely put a finger up for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing is if 100 people do it, it'd be good.
Yeah.
Okay?
So Councillor Black, what we will do is we will get that website and we will send that forward.
I'll send it to Julie now, shall I?
Yes, that'll be
Yep.
good.
And to Anne if you like, because we've circulated on our thingies that we do. What's those things
On
we
our
do?
social media.
Social, yeah, that's it.
Or
Is that the
on
website
phone
that's in
in
the
middle of
minutes?
the council meeting, but
Yeah.
you're on,
It's business related.
So, yeah. So would somebody like to move, where are we back here? Would somebody like to,
I'll move.
move that the Surf Highway Transport Unit meeting be noted, move councillor Thurston, second with councillor Saxon. Put recommendation, those in favour, please say aye. Those against, carried, thank you. Item 15, please, 15, please.
15 and 16, you want to combine them?
Yep, 16 is the AGM of just, the Thursday party towns and all the positions were held over the phone. There's no general business came out of the AGM. All the reports are there, the balance sheet, as well as the activities, 2024. Most of those will happen again in 2025. And then the November meeting is also held, highlight some of the working days. We carried out a raffle up the street, which ended up being quite successful. And we'll be doing the Christmas lights again online, thanks to Eden at Council, has developed an online activity track, and that will take you to our February meeting. So,
Are there any questions of Councillor Bright regarding these two units, block units? No, Councillor Bright would like to move? Yes, thank you. No further comments? No? Would like to second? Seconded, Councillor Major, that the Murrumbidgee Party Town Committee AGM minutes and the Murrumbidgee Party Town Committee November meeting minutes be noted. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 17, please.
Thank you, Councillor McRae. Item 17 is our monthly investment report for October 2024. As at the 31st of October, Council invested a total of funds worth $28,083,568. As detailed in the attachments, we spread the love around many different banks to get the greatest rate of return that we can for our ratepayers with the tax that we hold. Any questions?
Someone like to move, please? Move Councillor Jackson, seconded Councillor Turpin. Are there any questions? The General Manager? If not, of the recommendation that Council made the monthly investment report identifying all money Council has invested under Section 65 of the Local Government Act 1993. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Item 18, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 918 is developed through in October in 410 Council.
Any questions of Gary, please? Topic somebody like to move, please. Councillor Susan, seconded Councillor Bright. And the recommendation will read that the information contained in the development application is approved under delegation October 2024 report be noted. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. If somebody like to move that we move into confidential, please. Councillor Murphy, seconded Councillor Jackson. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried.
Big day reading all that.
Oh,
Okay.
I'd have to go.
We'll move to item 19, please, which the recommendation will read. It's for a tender for a Class 9 motor grader, and the recommendation will read that was moved by Councillor Kirby and seconded by Councillor Churwin. That one, Council accept the tender from Westtrack Proprietary Limited for the purchase of a Caterpillar 150 motor grader for $586,900, excluding GST. First trade of $140,000, excluding GST, on Council's current plant item 157, a changeover price of $446,900, excluding GST. And two, the contract documents and any other associated documents be executed on behalf of the Council in accordance with Clause 165 of the Local Government Regulation by the General Manager as the Principal's representative. Put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. Thank you. Move to item 20, please, which is the plant replacement, purchase of a backhoe loader. Moved on the recommendation of Councillor Black and seconded by Councillor Kirby. And the recommendation will read that Council endorse the recommendation of the evaluation panel to purchase a Caterpillar 432 backhoe loader from Westtrack Proprietary Limited for $213,420, excluding GST. First trade of $42,000, excluding GST, on Council's current plant item 167. A changeover price of $171,420, excluding GST, based on a comprehensive evaluation of quality, suitability and overall value rather than lowest price, given that the procurement was below the $250,000 threshold and did not require a formal tender process. Two, the contract documents and any associated documentation be executed on behalf of Council in accordance with clause 165 of the local government regulation, with the general manager acting as the principal's representatives. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Carried. 2. Item 21, please, which is the plant replacement, the purchase of a jet catcher. Moved by Councillor Strawn and seconded by Councillor Kirky. That one, council determines in accordance with section 55, clause 3, clause 1 of the Local Government Act 1993, that a satisfactory result would not be achieved by inviting tenders for the procurement of a jet catcher due to there being one only national supplier for this item of plant, and 2, the unavailability of competitive or reliable tenderers. 2, council accept a quotation from Osroad manufacturers for the purchase of a 6
Metre.
Yep. Osroad Jetmaster body, PTO powered, for $495,940 excluding GST, and an Isuzu FXY 240 350 auto cab chassis for $186,750 excluding GST, for a total purchase price of $682,690 excluding GST. And 3, the contract documents and any other associated documents be executed on behalf of the council in accordance with clause 165 of the local government regulation by the general manager as the principal's representative. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Okay, thank you. And we have a late item,
Late item.
please, Mr. General Manager.
So we need a resolution to allow the late item to be brought forward.
So the resolution will state that our council,
Yeah.
the item without notice be accepted and referred to today's meeting as it requires resolution before the next scheduled meeting. Somebody like to move Councillor Black, seconded Councillor Bryce. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye. Those against? Carried. Thank you.
So thank you, Councillor McRae. Just in recent times, as council is aware, we currently are renting 2 of our properties to Murrumbidgee Local Health District. I've been advised that they may be in a position to be able to purchase these homes from us. And if so, if they are in a position to purchase these homes from us and they are interested in purchasing such homes, that I would like the direction of council to enter into those agreements to sell the properties. Because it's a contract between governments, particularly the state government and the local government, section 55, subsection 3, subsection B of the Local Government Act allows us to just do the direct transfer with the New South Wales government and council. So in effect, not undertaking the requirements to tender or put them out to competition or put them into the hands of real estate agents or anything else like that. We can just contract directly with them. That we set the sale price will be determined by an independent valuer. We as a fourth part of that is that as part of our home replacements, by selling these 2, with one we're already building in Jerilderie. As we know, we've got 2 for sale, or 2 for sale in Darlington Point, and we're replacing those 2. That we sell these 2, that authorise myself to go out and seek quotes to replace with another 4-bedroom home in Jerilderie. Is there any questions?
Any questions of the General Manager, please, regarding this late item?
So some of the 2 houses will cover the new house.
Get close to covering the costs of the house. There'll be some, simply because of we already own the land, so we're not paying for the land, we're only paying for the building of the house, whereas we're selling house and land with the ones that we're selling there. So it comes close. I'll report back. Of course, council needs to give the final okay for the tender that comes forward from the builders anyway. So we'll be able to do that then.
Councillor Major.
So if they buy these two houses, they won't need to rent anything off us?
Yes,
Murrumbidgee
they'll
Health?
still need, they've attracted 4 nurses to town, which are going to come here over the next months or so. So I do believe they're still looking for either purchasing 2 other properties or renting 2 other properties. But that's, I'm not speaking on their behalf. I can only assume that they need to put those other nurses in there. So we are still assisting them where we can in finding appropriate accommodation for their extra nurses.
How long before we start those units that we're planning on for?
Key worker units.
The key worker units?
Yeah.
So that's as they were coming to in-house, so we're getting the designs on that. But that's probably a conversation that we should have. Is that we were looking at these key worker in particular. Murrumbidgee Local Health was going to rent 2.
Yeah.
I think even if they've got these homes, I still think they're wishing to rent 2 of them anyway. I'd like to flick past to Gary to find out when we are going to build those other homes. But
Yeah, I've got John gave me some floor plans that, from the, Murrumbidgee Local Health District. John, is that where they came from?
Yep.
They've been provided to a designer, Griffith, who's finalising some concepts for us. Won't be, floor plan will be the same, just looking at the very structure, position on the lots. Spoke to him last week when I got back from holidays. He's nearly got it done, so we should get those shots soon. Once that happens, we agree with them. He can do the full plans for the DA, and we can get started for tenders to build them.
Oh, we got to build them, haven't
Or we'll get the time to
we?
build them.
Build.
Just a question, do you know how much each of those units that TV on Country built for they actually look really good. Went down and had a look at them the other day in Darlington Point.
No, we don't know.
We
Yeah,
don't know.
we don't know.
We got prices off them, and we thought they were a bit high.
Right.
What we were originally told, almost doubled.
Oh, right. Yeah.
My understanding that Murrumbidgee Health have secured 2 legacy units for the time being.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are looking for
Homes.
and for all units. Yeah. So, okay, are there any further questions? If not, would somebody like to move, please? Move Councillor Kirby, second to Councillor Storm. And the recommendation will read that council, in accordance with section 55, subsection 3, subsection B of the Local Government Act, New South Wales 1993, authorise the General Manager to sell 2 Mundura News and 1 Koongarra present Jerilderie to the New South Wales Government Ministry of Health, in brackets Murrumbidgee Local Health District. 2, the General Manager be authorised to execute all documentation associated with the sale. 3, the sale price be determined by an independent valuer. And 4, council authorise the General Manager to seek a competitive price to build an additional 4-bedroom home in Jerilderie with a follow-up report to council seeking approval to proceed with engagement of preferred building contractor. I'll put the recommendation. Those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Those against, carried. Thank you. Done.
Well done.